Well, the Philippines marks its International Day Against Trafficking every December 12th to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking of persons, especially women and children. With technology and social media bringing more challenges to the battle against commercial sexual exploitation of children, I visited Cebu, considered as one of the country's sex trafficking hotspots, and talked to victims and those working to defend them. Take a look. A squad, a barkada, a clique gives teenage boys a sense of belonging and brotherhood. But what if your band of brothers was having sex with adult men for money? Peer pimping is an alarming trend that's growing in the Philippines, say children's rights advocates who point to the harmful impact on mental health and the spread of sexual diseases. I visit this boys' home in Cebu and meet survivors of commercial child sexual exploitation or sexploitation. The boys, aged 14 to 18, point to poverty and broken families as reasons for their behavior.
I always cry because of that, and I always sad because of money.
This 14-year-old tells me his parents were addicted to drugs and couldn't afford his school expenses. Determined to go to school, he found a way to earn money himself by performing oral sex on gay men for 50 to 70 pesos per person. The cost of a child's innocence, just $1 US.
Give my mother and my money, and she take a drug with my money.
Oh. So where are they still there?
Yes, and mother and me will fight because of money. Yes.
Yeah. What about your dad?
My dad is present.
Yeah. Most of these boys grew up together in the same poor neighborhood and formed a gang.
Walang atrasan kahit mamatay.
No backing out, even in death, a motto that led these children to do unspeakable things. This 14-year-old tells me it started when a gay man propositioned them at a local hangout, offering them food and money in exchange for sexual acts.
Pagkaligo na mo, paghuman mo kaligo, gutom naman kayo. Wala na ikaon ba kanang lamay na ikaon ba? Nakita na may bayot na mo nakitaan, nang naibayot ni natanaw nang ba? Yan ang bayot no, ari. Man ka man dola sad mi. Pag dola mo, nya gidala din mi din sa kwan sa mga truck.
From then on, the group sold sex for money, referring Johns to each other after meeting them on Facebook or in person. What is disturbing, social workers say, is the attitude among poor youth that this risky behavior is justified because they need money. Even worse, there is the peer pressure to go along or be kicked out of the group. One of the counselors who's been helping the boys understand their ordeal says he was shocked at their initial reactions to being victimized. Are they embarrassed about it? Or not really?
No, not really.
Wow.
They were bragging. Yeah. Oh, I had oral sex with a lot of gays, like that. And there's this someone also, oh, I had more gays than you.
Wow.
Yeah, they were bragging, but as a second parent of these children, I told them that you have to it's okay to brag something, but not like this. They need guidance also from their parents. Mm-hmm. They need someone who would encourage them or tell them that they are special in their own way, and they can do something better than what they are doing.
Most of the boys here were rescued by Forge, the Fellowship for Organizing Endeavors, one of several non-governmental organizations supported by USAID's Philippine American Fund and the Jerry Rojas Foundation. The funding aims to strengthen groups on the front lines of fighting human trafficking and commercial child sexploitation. Forge partnered with another NGO, PREDA, to provide a safe, transitional home for these boys, where they receive counseling, skills training, and encouragement to dream.
It's more like an accepted reality in urban communities that children are doing that. They earn income by selling themselves. And even if they consent, even if they say that we are aware with what we're doing, especially with the boys, but when you look at their cases, because we do case management, when we trace their family history, how they are neglected, abandoned, not provided with their basic needs. So if you look at the whole picture, how they belong to gangs because they want protection, they want to belong to a certain group, it's a victimization, even if they consent to it, even if they are aware of what they are doing.
Cebu has one of the Philippines' highest rates of child sex tourism and is considered a sex trafficking hotspot. I meet some of the groups working to educate children and parents and empower law enforcement and the community to be proactive in reporting suspicious activity.
Look for like certain person and then with many kids all around him, going back and forth to his place. There are places, the hangouts of these children, very vulnerable. So a person can just go there and hang out with these kids, and then actually their purpose is for exploitation.
Peso net cafes are one of the biggest breeding grounds for child sexploitation. For 1 peso or 2 US cents, children can be on Facebook. Without guidance or proper internet safety education, youth are at risk of falling victim to sexual predators. Like these boys who were solicited by strangers on Facebook. Social workers say one big red flag is a child with thousands of friends on social media.
There are a lot of people who will ask them to become their friend, and we have to make them understand the vulnerability of that kind of attitude. They are not aware so much on the implications of the work that they are doing. But eventually, when they are enlightened, when they are informed, they know the consequences of what they are doing. They start to understand that this type of activity is not acceptable and it will have an eventual negative effect on them.
In other cases, parents victimize their own children through online pornography.
They have a lot of misconceptions, like no touch, no harm, like that. So it's really, education is really a must for everyone.
Forge's activity centers offer an alternative to roaming the streets. It's in these safe places that the children start to open up.
They get sexually transmitted illness.
Yes, that also.
Because often that's the entry point, because when we do street education, where we go to their hangouts and conduct orientation, and then when we get to the part that we introduce the sickness that they might acquire in engaging in that kind of stuff, so they come to our community outreach workers and then secretly say, I need to have myself checked by the doctor.
Another major challenge is a culture that tolerates sexual solicitation.
We don't want to create bias with gays, but there are a lot of teams now who are arrested. It also involves gays. So we are also trying to reach out with LGBT communities to educate their members. And part of the process is for them to come up with child protection standards for their members, and it is really awakening for them.
Rights advocates say more coordination and communication among government agencies is needed, including police, port authorities, airports, and transport companies. They are lobbying for more funding for manpower and resources to catch tech-savvy sexual predators.
The pimps also, they're being taught that these are illegal. They're being informed that the things that they're doing are illegal. And we have laws that if once they will be caught, so they will be in jail.
The law enforcement should be active in their investigation, and then of course prosecution also pursue the cases, and of course the barangays has a very important role because they are there in the community. So they're actually the eyes and ears there in the community, and they can detect when there are strangers there and when there are things going on in the communities.
Child prostitution, child porn, child trafficking, problems in the Philippines that require a multifaceted approach. But it all starts in the home.
This is not an issue of poverty alone. Yes, the issue is also within the family as well. So we go back to the analysis and the understanding that the victimization in commercial sexual exploitation starts with the cycle of violence within the family. The family has the responsibility to ensure that the child is kept safe, and the community has to also look into that the community will not be complacent and will not accept the violence that they see in the community.